time since I came here last. It's been a while. I haven't done any YouTube podcast in a while. I've been so busy doing so many things, doing business, taking care of family. I've been having a lot. I've been being a new dad also. I didn't know that being a new dad is so stressful, but it's been good experience. I can't trade it for nothing. I enjoy every moment of it. I enjoy every bit of it, and it's the best experience in life. But I also do miss talking to you guys. I've been on other podcasts. I've spent time with some of my folks at Lapif, Black Man Unfiltered, so many podcasts. But I do have a lot to talk about, though. Even though I've been on those podcasts, I do have a lot to talk about, and I also want to be showing up here often to discuss, have conversations, make our society, contribute to the best of my capability in making our society and the community better. But I'll be talking a lot these days. I'm trying to bring my podcast back to life again, and with that, have one-on-one conversations, have face-to-face conversations, have panel conversations. I will do it in so many ways, depending on how I feel. That's it. Depend on my schedule, not how I feel. My bad. I depend on my schedule. But for those of you that are doing Christmas, I know this is a busy time for all of those that are doing Christmas and those that have other holidays that they practice based on their faith. But I'm also looking forward to the new year. The new year, new things, new adventures, better things to do. Depend on your calendar, because not everyone practices Christmas, and not everybody has the same New Year. So New Year varies for different people. I'm an African traditionalist, so my New Year is August. No, September, I'm sorry. September is my New Year. August is end of the year because of the New Year festival. And I'm going to be discussing a lot about that. How we, the Igbos, and the rest of us can also practice our New Year. Because based on what based on my practice, and according to the moon, the New Year for us is after the New Year festival is ending, meaning that the day that harvest starts, according to the way our ancestors did it, is that when the yam is brought out of the land for harvest and there is a full moon, the day after the full moon is the New Year. Because the New Yam festival, which is in August, marks the end of that year cycle. So the moon, when it's full, according to our ancestors, when the moon is full, not crescent, not half moon, but full moon, when the moon is full, then the New Year, the day after the full moon, becomes the New Year, because the day of the full moon is the end of the month, according to the way our ancestors did it, and it's been around for more than 300 and something thousand years. So, and in order to understand how it works, is this: when you look at when you look at the beginning of the harvest, the beginning of our harvest, right, which marks the New Year. But then after that comes a sowing season. Sowing season is the beginning of rainfall. So when the rain falls, what happens is that we plant. That is usually the middle of the year. So when we harvest, that means it's the end of the year. This is what I'm going to be discussing. I'm going to discuss this as our tradition, but I also want to teach people and also talk to people about African gods, because I do understand that certain people don't believe in our tradition and culture. I'm going to talk about those things a lot. I'm going to explain to people that as Africans, we should not be ashamed of our culture. We should not be ashamed of our tradition. And we should not be ashamed for what we have. Being a Christian is not bad. It's not wrong to be a Christian. Everybody have the culture or the tradition that they believe in. But I'm also going to tell people that if you're a traditionalist like me, don't be ashamed. Just like every other people practice their tradition and culture and religion, practice yours. Nobody is going to respect you if you are not proud of what your ancestors gave you, just like they are proud of what their ancestors gave them. You should be proud of what your ancestors gave you, just as well as they are proud of what their ancestors gave them. So the power of the gods is what I'm also going to discuss. That aside, I'm also going to have conversations that will have to do with raising children. How to raise children in African culture. How to raise children the way our ancestors stipulated. How to make your family to be that which you have envisioned. Not to raise a family outside the tradition. Yes, there are people that like the modern day thing. They want to be modern in their behavior, in their character, in everything. That's fine. I can't tell a man how to raise his family, but I can only advise a man how to run his family. But he has the final say on how family should be run by him. I'm also going to discuss more to women on how to behave to get a man, how to conduct yourself in order to get the best man that you wish for. These are going to be my discussions starting in the new year. Then another thing that I'm also going to discuss is business, investments, how to grow your investment portfolio. I am not going to discuss stock market. I think some people have told me, hey, you don't have a license for stock market. Why would you want to advise people on stock market? I said to them, I don't have license for stocks. That's to be a stock market advisor. I don't have license for that. But I also don't believe in it. Because I'm a businessman. I have many years experience in business. I've done business from my childhood, from when I was a little kid, since I was 9 years old. I've always had a business. To coming to the United States and working 9 to 5, being entrusted with companies to be run, and got out of those 9 to 5 jobs and started my own business, which I've owned for 10 years now. And I enjoy doing it. Those are the kind of conversations I can have. I'm not going to advise you to go take your money and buy a stock and then sit around and wait for your money to grow at somebody's whip or government sentiment or government feelings or stock market or somebody dying, and then you lose your money because somebody dies or something happens or somebody coughed or somebody sneezed and you lose your money, or somebody get excited and you get money. I'm not going to advise you on that kind of business. To me, that's a kind of a legalized fraud. I'm not going to advise you on those kind of business. I will advise you on how to run your business. Some of those running business things I'm not going to discuss online. It's going to be a one-on-one discussion, or maybe discussion over a drink. I'll just advise you as a friend on how to run a business. But certain things I won't say it online. So, and I'm also going to talk about other business portfolios. I'm going to discuss real estate. I'm going to discuss other types of investment that are out there to do. And I'm also going to talk to you about how to save money on certain things. I will have those discussions based on my experience and the experience or the things that I've witnessed that other people have done around me, and I will use their mistakes to advise you not to do certain things. These are things I'm going to discuss in the new year. Because one thing that I really want to see is people to be able to have a longevity in terms of their financial endeavor. Those are things I'm going to discuss. But I'm also going to want to sit down with folks sometimes and talk about politics. Politics in the sense that certain things that happen in politics. We're going to discuss politics. We're going to have conversations on politics, on how to run, how to vote. Other things are going to be discussed. How to build black voting community, voting strength, and not to invest all your votes in just one party or a collective of people. These things I'm going to discuss in the new year. So I am glad to have come up online briefly to have this short video made. It's just a live video, but it's short. But one thing that I'm going to say is this, right? I'll be back here tomorrow to talk, or maybe later on tonight, I don't know. But I will talk, and we will all get into this. We're all going to get into this Roman calendar New Year and talk a lot about business, and talk a lot about life, talk a lot about family, talk a lot about investment. But I got to tell you this, it's going to be fun. We will have fun, and we will make things great. Thank you so much, and you guys have a good, okay? Bye-bye.